All right, welcome back. Welcome everyone to the Insomnia 56 Truesilver Championship #1. I'm Noxious, and with me is Lothar. We're going to be
Hi,
casting
dude.
the game, so it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to online qualifiers. That's something I always loved, and I played in a lot of those. There are some perks, like always something not going the how it was planned, but yeah, that's the
Yeah,
that's the beauty of
that's the
it.
name of the game, right? As soon as you
Yeah.
talk about online qualifiers, online games, there's always going to be some kind of hiccup happening, but we're sorting out pretty much everything that's going on right now. Again, the admins are taking care of most of that stuff. That being said, a little introduction for those of you who are not familiar with the Insomnia True Server Championship, and it's unlikely that you are familiar with it. We've got a few stages for it. First of all, we're going to be getting the format will consist of a top 16 that will have a lot of people as direct invites. We'll have 8 direct invites. We'll have 6 people who will qualify in LAN as soon as the day before the big event starts. And we're going to have one international online qualifier, which happens today, and the
Yeah.
UK only online qualifier, which will happen further down the line. So today we're going to get one guy to go through to the big event.
Yes, and there's a prize in general, like a prize for the qualifier, but the first person, the person that wins today's qualifier, get his flights and accommodation covered for the and the entry, of course, for the $30K tournament. So that's actually a really big prize.
Right. I mean, it guarantees that number one, you also go there in the first place. You don't have to retry maybe through the land qualifiers later on. What happens is you're guaranteed to go there and get your whole accommodations paid for. And that's for some people who may not live nearby, that's a lot of money. I mean, we're talking about the international online qualifier from the US. You're able to get there for free without having to pay, and you can compete for a chance at one of a bit of the 30K prize pool. So definitely something that you'll be happy about. Again, we've got some matches have already happened today. We have 256 people in the bracket total, so we've got a lot of people to cover. We won't be casting all the games, of course. They're going to be simultaneous. The format is a last hero standing best of 5.
Mm-hmm.
No
Yep.
ban, and you can just basically play. You have to win with 3 different decks in order to go through.
No, you have to win with
Oh, or
one
three
deck.
times, sorry. Yes. No, not 3 decks. My bad. You bring 3 decks, you have to win 3 games. That is.
Exactly. So it's quite a different type of beast when it comes to like comparison when it comes to comparison with Conquest, right? In Conquest it's about bringing three really well-rounded decks. In Conquest it's about some kind of strategy and counterplay, because you are sure that your opponent will be countering your deck, so you can counter his counter after you can win the initial match, an example. So it will be quite different from what we usually see in Conquest. The ban also changes it a lot, because usually when you're doing a deck building process for the last hero standing and you have a ban available, you can modify your usual decks, or modify or just build a special deck that will not be even planning to play against a certain archetype. In this situation, people have to be prepared for anything, for any class. So we can see a lot of weapon hates. We can see a lot of secrets hates, because there will be mage and hunter available for people. And I see that many players are favoring freeze mage currently.
Yeah, actually, I feel like we're still in a very weird phase in Hearthstone for tournament play because of the recent release of League of Explorers, and I
Mhm.
think we've seen a lot of new decks come up, and I think the metagame has never been as interesting for me, at least in a long time, as it is now. We see all sorts of things come back that were gone. Zeus coming back in a weird way. Freeze Mage is coming back. It's a deck that had also gone for a while. We saw a Sea Story Cup, the last hero standing format, gave rise to a lot of freeze mage, and as a result of that, you say it's very favored for a good reason. But still, the secrets being a part of the arsenal of hunters and mages means that cards like Kazan Mystic are amazing right now. Like the
Mhm.
fact that you can tech against many things. And I mean, you can tech some specific decks a lot more easily, maybe in Last Hero Standing, and have a better reason to do it than in Conquest. And you're not targeting one specific deck; it's one deck after the other.
Yeah, exactly. And now we see that Blackout and Quat are already in game, making the mulligans. Blackout is playing the Paladin, Quat is playing the Warrior, I assume. And seems like Blackout is choosing to play the one of the strongest decks in current metagame, which is Secret Paladin. What do you think about the
Yeah, I
deck?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the deck is very powerful, but on the other hand, I feel like for last hero standing, it's also very difficult sometimes to bring. It's the type of deck that doesn't have a very good, like it doesn't target anything very easily. So it's more of a ladder deck, I feel, maybe than a tournament deck. But some people disagree. You know, some people think that deck is actually amazing.
Well, it is very strong, and that's something you have to take into consideration when you think about decks that are mid-range, that are just aggressive. They can always win. It's like when you think about Face Hunter, when you think about Zoo, it doesn't rely on certain strategy. It doesn't. I mean, sorry, it doesn't rely on certain combo. It doesn't rely on specific card draw, because you have
Right.
a 1-drop, you have a 2-drop, you have a 3-drop, and you have a 4-drop, and you don't really care which one you get. It's about the general strategy, which is to play minions, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it feels a bit like Zoo in the way that you just play on curve very often and you do well. So it reminds me a bit of that older playstyle. But I mean, against Patron, it's a known disadvantage you've got. And we see now the Quad with the Patron deck is supposed to have the edge. And just based on this early game, even though Blackout's been able to put pressure, his follow-ups don't look very good.
Definitely, and the problem is that he is not having the beloved mysterious challenger for the Team 6,
Yeah.
but he has 2 draws available. And he picks up for now Pellet Shredder, which is a good 10-5 drop. I mean, I would have played that card if it would be a 5 drop, right?
I mean, I'd play the Body Shredder if it were 5 mana, but I'd rather play it for 4 and get an Avenge on top, because why not? Just might as well get the extra bonus. Right now, I feel like Blackout is banking on whatever top deck is coming up. He wanted to play the Redemption, probably, to get the Shredder out. The problem with that, of course, is that because the 1/1s were already on the board first, they would trigger the Redemption first, which means you wouldn't be getting much value out of it. Now I'm curious to know how this is going to pan out.
Sorry
Go
for
ahead.
interrupting you, because that's very interesting and not many people actually know that. So you're saying that if the creatures were played before the Avenge, they will get the bonus from the Avenge? After they get killed through the AoE? An example, in this situation, when you attack with the Depth Spider here?
Well, the Avenge would trigger on whatever is left on the board, of course. In this case, the Powder Shredder should be able to get the buff out of the Avenge. I mean, whatever comes out of it. Yeah. Like this is kind of an interesting situation you run into. It's very rare, but it's exactly the case I was looking at. The Redemption would have done a lot less work than the Avenge.
Okay, so the Avenge lands on a minion that generally would have died. And that's something that new players have to take into account, and maybe they'll be kind of confused because there's no comprehensive rules for Hearthstone.
Yeah, it's got to do with the whole, like, the fact that
No,
the Death
wait,
Spite has a Death Rattle.
look at that. There was a possibility, sorry, there was a possibility to play Tyrion right now. Oh.
Oh my god! No, you still have to remove this guy though, right? Oh my god, you're right. You're actually right. The coin with Tyrion. Well, the question I have for you though, Lothar, is when you have Truesilver, do you want to just exhaust the charges first before dropping Tyrion, maybe? You know what I mean? Like, there's probably a good argument to using Tyrion with the coin and Redemption on turn 8 to get an extra Tyrion, right?
Because, that would be so sweet.
Yeah.
But it was a
you
better
get
play
excited.
to get the Truesilver champion out, of course. Especially that the 14 Berserker is still a threat. So, yeah, I can see that happening.
Well, that's pretty much the perfect outcome for Blackout, though. He's able to kill the Lotheb, to play the Tyrion, and now Quat's gonna have to deal with a Tyrion with nothing left but 10 health.
That doesn't look good, man. And how
I don't
can
like it very much.
you can't damage it because it has Divine Shield, so you need to get
BGH? No.
Even if you kill it, you're still dead to the weapon. No, you'll be at 1 HP because you will have to use weapon first, attack into it, then Taskmaster, then execute. You're at 4, then you have to armor up, be at 6, then you get a hit from the weapon, be at 1, and die next turn. But in this situation, the other option is to actually attack with the Gromish. But it still is very, very ineffective.
Yeah, in this case especially since the Divine Shield comes right back up, and Blackout's got all the reasons in the world to go face. You push a lot of damage with Redemption. You don't even have to play a 1/1, and you're guaranteed to get Tyrion back.
Definitely don't want to play the 1/1 with when you play have Redemption and a Tyrion.
Well, all right. He doesn't really care, I guess. Ultimately, he feels very safe no matter what. I mean, Quad has to have an owl basically to make this work, or some kind of cruel task BGH, a whirlwind execute play, something along those lines. But even then, if the Tyrion dies, then you get the weapon, and unless there's a Harrison Jones in that warrior deck or some kind of shield block at the very end, you're gonna be in a good spot.
So Quat plays around the Redemption, which is a very cool move, but will it be enough to survive the next turn?
I don't know. If you inner rage the Tyrion and you smash your Grom into it, you're still not able to survive the weapon hit. So
yeah,
Blackout's gonna take first game. And even though I was saying, you know, Patience got a small edge in the matchup, it looks like the Secret Paladin's still able to take it.
The Secret Paladin on the back of a Tyrion. You know, Tyrion is a pain in the back for the warrior class in general. You have to deal every time you have to deal with a divine shield. It means you are getting a lot of damage, because that's something you have to deal almost always with a minion or a weapon. Most of the time, a weapon. So it's not an easy minion to get rid of, and as we just saw, it won the game single-handedly. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the mini bot early game, right? If it falls on curve, the warrior has to go through a lot of misery to get it off the board, and by the time it's done, usually they have more stuff, so you have to find a War Axe with maybe an Acolyte of Pain, followed by a Whirlwind effect immediately, just to get rid of stuff. And right now, because of Quat's loss... wait, did Quat win? Wait, was Quat the Secret Pally?
Oh.
Okay, he didn't.
Wait, what? Oh, no.
Alright,
okay,
it's
Paladin versus Paladin, so... Yeah. So
Never
now they're
mind.
both playing Paladins. No, wait.
Right. Alright, so Blackout is the Paladin, and the Quat is the Paladin, but Blackout is the Paladin at the bottom. And if this juggle hits... No, this juggle did not hit. Alright.
That would be just awful for Quat. Because you have no board advantage. Yeah,
like,
you just
trade?
go face. I don't think you trade.
So muster for battle is not enough of a worry for you?
I would. I usually just go aggressively, you know?
Gotcha. Alright, we'll see what Blackout picks up, but if he doesn't find a secret, and he goes for the muster, that consecration from Quad is going to be very tasty. But he's going to play around it. Very well played by Blackout here. Knows better than to overextend.
5, 6, 7. How can you deal with that? Low dip into Mysterious Challenger, into Dr. Boom, into Tyrion! If he picks up I'll just shut it next turn.
He doesn't need it, he's gonna be on 5 immediately, right?
Oh yeah, right, what I'm talking
I mean...
Never mind, yeah.
This is... Okay, wait, there is a BGH, and there is a counter Dr. Boom, right? But I feel like Quat, and he's got the Tyrion as well, it's gonna be matching up. The problem is the Mysterious Challenger will completely wreck any attempt that Quat might make at clearing the board up. He needs to find something like a Sylvanas or a Belcher. A Belcher here would do, you know, a little bit of work, at least stall some of the damage coming in.
That's true.
Oh man, that's rough. Keeper of Uldamon's gonna stall as well, mitigate some damage.
But it still looks very, very bad for Quad. As you said, the Big Game Hunter can solve a problem with the Dr. Boom, but he's always behind. That's
wow, and it's just... he's basically got every single big threat in his deck at this point.
That's like the dream cure, I would say.
There's simply nothing else.
Everything that he will draw after that will be just a smaller minion from now on. But it's not a problem, because the game will not last that long.
Although, one thing to say though is there's a muster for battle with Defensive Argus on 7 for Quat, so that's gonna stall a bit longer again. It's gonna allow him to get to Tyrion, it's gonna allow him to get to Dr. Boom, depending on whether or not that's what he wants to do. He's gonna go for the BGH early. Alright, never mind.
Yes, he has to do that, because otherwise he'll be just getting insane amount of damage from the 9-8 Mr. Challenger would actually be 10-9 because of the competitive spirit, right? So This is a must, what you have to do, and at the same time, that's what I was saying before. He's always on the back foot. He's not able to play a minion first. In this situation.
I still feel like there's a the Tyrion falling down here after the because it's gonna be a Doctor Boom into Tyrion, and the boom bots could determine whether or not. Whoa.
Well, if that boom bot will kill a boom bot, and then the boom bot will kill a low tap.
That's a big deal, but that's not. In fact, it's offering Lothab a trade. Oh, that is bad for Quat.
What would you trade here? You just go face, right? For 13 damage and just play Tyrion?
You do put him on 5 health. It's only bad against what? Equality Consec. Actually, yeah, it's pretty bad against Equality Consec, but you
then
kill
you
him
have
with weapon
weapon.
afterwards. Yeah, and you win right away.
Yes, exactly.
Alright.
In this situation, you are not winning. And you don't have a weapon. You don't have a small minion to trade into the Divine Shield. So it's quite awkward, right?
Yeah, and the worst part here is that Blackout, even though, you know, it looks like the Tyrion is stopping him, the fact that he's got the Light's Justice from the Muster means that he can trade whenever he wants and get himself a better weapon afterwards, and also develop another minion on the back of this and attack phase for 7. And it's going to force Quat to use his Ashbringer charge on a Belcher and a Noble Sack.
Well, I can say safely that this is over.
Yeah, this feels like it was very one-sided all the way through. What could he find here that would help from lay on hands? I can't think of a single card that would stall the board. Not even Equality.
Oh, he's playing Bran.
Yeah, with Defend of Argus, it's surprisingly good.
Defend of Argus and Quartermaster?
Coghammer as well. It works out
Yes, okay.
kind of well. Doctor Boom, why not? The Keeper of Uldamon doesn't do anything. Aldor Peacekeeper doesn't do anything. There's a lot of cases for where Bran just doesn't work in Paladin, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, with Quartermaster is like the most powerful one, right?
Yeah, +2, like +4/+4 to every single 1/1. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I don't know, we didn't see a Quartermaster. However, just based on the fact that the Keeper of Uldamon was in the deck, you know, it's one of those cards that have versatility because it can turn your 1/1 into a 3/3 against aggro. And it can also help you, you know, tune down the power level of an enemy minion. And very often when you start seeing people trying to weave in Keepers of Uldamon with Quartermasters, the approach is very much one where you flood the board with 1/1s. You know, think about Justicar Trueheart in Paladin, think about Muster for Battle, and then you use the Keeper of Uldamon as a way to stall. Oh my god.
The Zoo. But, I mean, okay, it's not the Zoo.
It's a Reno.
Warlock.
It's a Reno
It's a
lock.
Reno Jackson Warlock.
That deck is very good.
You think so? It's not
Oh yeah, I think that deck
unreliable, inconsistent enough?
Oh no, I think that deck is actually really solid. I was surprised at the effectiveness of Reno Jackson Warlock. I'm not sure how it fares against the Paladins, but it's been one of the most... I think my favorite Reno Jackson deck is by far Druid. We just don't see very much of it, but Warlock is probably the close second.
Okay, why Druid then?
It's very easy, like you can play double Innervate, double Wild Growth, and everything else is just... Like, I guess you lose to Tempo Mage almost automatically, but aside from that, it's a deck that you really never have trouble finding a good curve with because of the way it works.
But that is an onslaught right now, look at that.
Well, I mean...
Oh my god.
The perfect juggles too, oh goodness!
And
Somebody
how can
needs
you
a
bat
Hellfire
that?
right now. Somebody needs a Hellfire, and there's
those
not a single
Ragnaros.
one to be found.
It's somehow tied to the fire, but it's not exactly hell. So... Ah, wow. 2 minions, 2 perfect juggles. He didn't lose a single minion yet because of the juggles that are coming from the knife juggler, and that's something hard to swallow for Quat. He has
Yeah,
to
I feel
play
like the Void Caller all-in is basically your best chance of staying in the game, right? You have to hope that Mal'Ganis comes out. It's the only card you've got that can come out of this. And right now, it looks like, you know, if Blackout wants to deny that, all he has to do is use a Coghammer and hit a 1/1 with it. Or like any minion, really. And if the Void Caller can't die, then Mal'Ganis is not coming out.
Yes. And then he can push for a lot of damage. That's 3, 6, 9 damage this turn. 11 with the weapon, which basically setups lethal for... Wait, it doesn't.
Not next turn, but the turn afterwards, technically. Oh, the coil could be good. That could be a very important card.
Let's see what we'll draw. There's a Hellfire!
The Hellfire! That guarantees
Oh
the
my
Mal'Ganis
God.
comes out with the 1/1s. There's no Repentance on the board, and it wouldn't matter because it wasn't played from the hand. This is probably the one card that Quat wanted to see more than anything else.
Yeah, it's not even Demon Wrath, because Demon Wrath doesn't kill your Void Caller.
Wow.
And it's
now,
one damage
in order to
off
kill
from killing
this,
it. But yeah.
right, he's got to go for the Truesilver, which lets you start playing, you know, maybe Reno Jackson. Who knows?
Now it all
knows?
depends if he's playing 30 different cards.
He did get one Dark Peddler, and very often what you see is 2 Dark Peddlers in that deck. I'm not sure what other card he's playing as a 2 of, but there's a chance that we see a Reno Jackson, just because the Dark Peddler is the only card you play 2 copies of because it gives you card advantage, and he does get it back to full health, and
That's a
yeah.
nice drop. But it's still not out of the woods, because there's Mysterious Challenger on the turn 7 follow-up, and there's still a lot of board. So
But it feels good.
it feels good if there will be no Mysterious Challenger right now. I would feel great.
That
Well,
was the only card he was looking for.
Molten
That
Giant at card too late.
Hellfire. Well, you're still going to be able to play it, I'm sure, just based on this board, right?
Yes. So I guess this is the turn when you play Emperor.
It
Because
looks
you
fine to
need
me
the
because you're
Emperor-
forcing a trade anyway, right?
Yes.
Well, looks
Oh.
like he disagrees.
Okay. I mean, the Mr. Challenger would be a 7/7, so he's able to snipe that next turn. And
Yeah.
now all depends on what type of trades will be made from Blackout, and he is doing the correct one, which is 7/4, so he doesn't leave a huge minion on board that is that Quad is able to snipe in form of a Siphon Soul or Big M Hunter, because the
Yeah,
Warlocks of
there's very few cards, but
play-
you do play the Siphon Soul in that deck. Wow, BGH Shadow Flame is the perfect response.
Holy damn! Wait, there's Avenge, and if the
The
Avenge
Avenge
lands on
could
Secret
pull
Keeper
off.
or on Minibot, then
You're
it
right.
survives.
It lives. That's right. It's their 40% shot, and it misses the perfect clear from Quad here on Blackout. Blackout's got to feel devastated after this. But I mean, he did get wins, right? He did do a pretty good job so far. He got 2 wins with 1 deck.
Yes.
Even if he loses this one, I think he's going to be happy with it.
Yeah, the Paladin had a really good run, in my opinion, and Quad was really lucky with the top decks right now. But you know, those cards are being used there for a reason. So, yeah.
There has to be... I mean, at some point, the RNG has to even out, right? The draw from Blackout last game was absolutely insane. Quat really couldn't do much against it, so it has to go both ways, once in a while.
Exactly. Bran, what do you use? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a tech card in Reno, Jackson.
is there a-
MC Tech is actually not in every deck, by the way. I just want to make sure that that's clear to everybody. It's not a card you see every time, but when it works, like Brand Bronzebeard with Healbot, Brand Bronzebeard with Earthen Ring, Brand Bronzebeard with MC Tech, those cards do a lot of work.
16 health? That's quite a lot with Bran.
Yep. So Blackout is gonna let it slide this time. He's gonna say, "All right, I'm gonna play against your Reno Jackson Warlock with my other 2 decks." Quat could technically win the 2 following games and get a reverse sweep on Blackout. It's unlikely, but it's possible. I think Reno Warlock can do it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really looking forward to more of this deck, because what I love about the Reno Jackson decks is the fact that you can't even predict what's happening next turn, because the decks are kind of not consistent when it comes to the card choices, of course, but at the same time they follow up the game style, right? The plan,
Right.
how do you will play the game itself, but it's the outcome of the cards might be very different, because you play 1 Hellfire instead of 2, because you have a Demon Wrath in there, right? So there's like 3 OEs. And instead of the 1 Hellfire, there's the Demon Wrath. Then you have like 2 minions that are 2 drops, but they have different approach they have different purposes. There's Dark Peddler,
Yeah,
right? And
definitely.
then there is an example Knife Juggler, and there are no two Knife Jugglers in the deck. And the small differences between the minions can impact the game plan in really heavy manner. So that's something that really interesting to see, because almost every single game will be different from the one that you played just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's one of the things also that makes the game, like Reno decks really make for a lot of, oh my god, that hurts. Blessing of Might is a lot of damage output if you want to be pushing for it. Blackout is going to play around the Hellfire though, not overextending, keeps the Blessing of Might for the extra triggers on the Flame Waker.
So next in, oh wow, there's a Yeti. Okay, so this deck relies also on the spare parts for Flame Wakers. Very interesting.
Yeah. It's not a guaranteed thing nowadays. I feel like the MC tech here, if it steals the Shredder, could turn the game around.
Let's see what it gets, and it's the worst one.
Still, it's a minion. You
wow.
have something on the board, you stole them something, you can play the Knowledge if you want for card draw, but the Overload looks really punishing.
Yeah,
he's gonna mill
something
himself
can't
next
do.
turn, isn't he? Yeah,
3,
he's gonna mill
6,
himself next
9,
turn.
10. What was the reason to tap? There was no reason to tap. You would just be better playing Sunfield Protector right now.
It's for the Molten Giant is my guess. Oh my
you have
goodness,
Defender Logos
Ancient
already.
Mage.
Oh, god damn it.
If there,
hilarious.
if there ever was a time not to be facing off against Ancient Mage, that's probably right now, Blackout. But Hellfire, how much damage is coming in here with the coin?
Why didn't he play the ancient, the Mana Worm first? I mean, it would have been like a 5-3, right?
I guess he didn't
False
need to.
play.
He's putting his opponent on lethal next turn. There's no Hellfire possible here. Quat can use the Molten Giant if he wants to. He can taunt up, but he's still going to be unable to live through this. So the only way he wins is by going Molten and then taunting it up and then going for Ancestral Knowledge, but he doesn't have any more heals. We know that much. There's the Earthquake Farseer is already out, and he's not playing two of them. He's only got one. Or maybe he's running two. Maybe he's running two.
No.
It's not systematic.
I think the only card that is being played as a 2-drop, as a double drop, is the Molten Giant and the Doomsayer there. Look at that. It would actually be able to
Oh no.
somehow turn the game around by AoE clears and get the Doomsayer out of it. Wow.
If it wasn't for Blessing of Might. Because Blessing of Might gave the extra damage in that made it so he couldn't Hellfire down the Shredder without dying.
Well, the tap was also very important. Because that
I'm
was
actually honestly surprised that Quat life tapped on that turn. It has zero purpose besides enabling Molten, but he was going to enable it anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Blackout won his first game, I assume, right? First?
That's the second one, I think. He ended up winning the first one a little earlier. So this is round 2. Blackout's already gone. I think he got a bye, though. He got a bye in the first round, and the second round against Quat. Quat had to go through against another opponent where he beat him 3-0, and now he lost against Blackout 3-1. He's going to have no more chances to go forward. Blackout's going to be facing off against either Wadey or Racket in the next round. I'm not sure if we're going to be following Blackout's progression throughout the open qualifier. We're probably going to be casting someone else. Again, there's a lot of players in this thing. It's not like we have, 5 or 6 players playing and we're following those. We have a ton of matches, and we can basically pick whichever one of those we want. And just for the sake of variety, we'll see a lot of names today.
So we'll be... during the break, we'll be picking up another match and getting that SAP for you guys so we can cast another one.
All right, sounds good. We'll be taking a quick break then. Don't go anywhere, guys. I-56 continues after the break.
Yep.